Okay, guys, let's talk about Arsenal. I love this video every season at the end of the Premier League season. I always kind of do an Arsenal video talking about the squad and who I'd like to sell, who I'd like to keep, who I'd like to loan, and of course, transfer targets. So there will be two videos. Today, we're going to go through the current squad as we're going into the summer. And of course, the Euros is coming up, so that might change things. Imagine if there's a player here that I say has had a poor season, we should sell, but then they go on to have an incredible tournament. So we might revisit, but as of right now, at the end of last season, I can't believe I'm saying last season now. I can't believe it's over. We finished second place. This is the squad we did it with, including the loaned players, which I'll go through first. And let's just talk about how we're going to get into the new season with a replenished squad. So what I'm going to do, and it's very rough, okay, I'm just in Photoshop right now. I think you guys have seen me do this before. We're going to have, if you look in the top left, color codes. If a player gets a red mark, they are to be sold. And remember, this is all just my opinion, so you might have your own. Get your comments down below. If I could put a yellow marker on, it's loan, and if it's green, it's keep. And then in the next video, we'll be talking about players that I would bring in. So let's go through the loaned players. These players were out on loan last season, did not contribute to the season whatsoever. And let's decide who goes, who stays, and who maybe stays out on loan. I'm going to start off with Lokonga. It's such a tricky one because I think the most likely thing is, and let me just make sure I create a new layer here. There we go. Let me just get rid of that. I think the most likely thing is we're going to sell. I don't think he makes it into the squad, even though he's been very good at Luton. But I think it's very possible that he's going to have to find a new club. And I've heard some reports alluding to that. I'm sure he would like to try and get in the Arsenal squad, but I just don't see it personally. But he did do very well. So for me, if we can't loan him, I would rather we sell him and cash in on him. He might go for a similar fee to what we paid to bring him here. And it was a gamble. I remember when we signed him, I looked at a few compilations and a lot of people were talking about how he's like a future leader. He was a captain so young, you know. We'll go on to Tierney next, who is also a sell. It's like I've got a sniper on their heads. Tierney for me is another player that I would just sell. I think, unfortunately, we play with a modern fullback system, and Tierney is a bit of an old school defender. He's a left back that likes to defend, and I mean, he stays wide, he gets crosses in, but he's not so good with the ball at his feet, and I think we all know that that's not going to fly with Arteta. I like Tierney. I love him. I think he could do a job for us, but there's no point in me saying keep him when I know he's not going to be here next season, and I think he knows it himself. Marquinhos has actually been playing right back at his current club, which I thought was really interesting. He's been playing at right back and actually doing relatively well, but unfortunately, we don't need him playing right back for us. And is he going to be good enough? Is he worth another loan? Probably not. Again, I'm sorry, mate, but he would be a bang. He'd be a sell. We got him cheap, a couple of million, and I'm sure we'd get a couple of million for him. He could turn into a great player, but he plays in a position where we're quite stacked. Winger, although he's left-footed, which is quite nice. We don't have a backup to Saka, but realistically, is he as good or anywhere near as good as Saka? No. Tavares, gone. Do I even need to say anything? No. Patino, for me, would be another loan. But I think the likelihood is he's probably going to be sold, isn't he? But for me personally, another year out on loan would not hurt. It really wouldn't hurt. He's had great moments on loan already. I think he's gone off the boil a little bit. I mean, you guys can let me know if you've been watching him a little bit more closely, but as far as I can remember, started well, hasn't continued that form throughout the whole season. But why give up on a player like him that plays in a position that we could do with? I mean, creative midfielder. He's almost a little bit like a Granit Xhaka, I think, that kind of role he plays. And of course, we've been using Declan Rice in that number 8 role a lot this season. Why not have someone like Patino who could come in and play that role in the future? I don't know. We're going to go to the first team now. I wanted to just get the loans done. This is going to be quite easy, I think. So Raya, for obvious reasons, we keep Raya. He was a little bit of a controversial signing. Even I remember saying myself, I didn't think it was worth doing. Ramsdale's a perfectly good enough goalkeeper for Arsenal. He helped us so much since he joined. But Mikel Arteta was right. Raya fits into this team so well. It's the mentality. That's the difference. There's a clip that went very viral online. It's Ramsdale in a podcast saying, if you ask me to focus for 90 minutes, I can't do it. And then the next clip is Raya talking about how he wants to win the Champions League, the Premier League. He wants to win both, and that it's difficult to stay focused as a goalkeeper, but you have to be switched on. And the difference is insane. And I don't think Ramsdale was doing himself any favours by talking the way he did, but I don't think he truly meant it like that. But put it this way, I think it's very clear that Ramsdale's going to leave. He's too good to be a backup. He's the best number 2 in the league, that's for sure. He might be one of the best number 2s in the world. So with Raya staying, it's probably not going to... I might as well just do it now. Unfortunately, Ramsdale is going to be sold, and I think he's going to end up at Newcastle. Ben White, for me, he's been the best right-back in the league this season, along with Kyle Walker. Very different right-backs. I would say Ben White is extremely intelligent with his runs, but he's just an all-rounder. And of course, Kyle Walker, I think it's quite easy to make the argument that he's the best right-back in the world on his day, but with Walker getting on now, I think Ben White could genuinely be the best right-back in the league soon. One thing I don't like so much about Ben White is off the pitch. He's a bit of I don't know what the word is. I love him for it as well though, but he doesn't like football. Do you know how mental that is? Saliba, don't even bother asking me. What's the point? He's the best young centre-back in the world, and he is the reason that we've done better this season because he stayed fit. He played every single minute this season in the Premier League. He for me, is our most valuable player with Saka. I really do believe that. Oh, Declan Rice as well. Oh, Ødegaard. We've got so many very, very valuable players. Gabriel, keep, obviously. Really, really like Gabriel. And him and Saliba, I mean, what a partnership. The best centre-back duo in the league, for sure, last season. Tomiyasu, 100% you keep Tomiyasu, even if he doesn't play as a starter. He's such a versatile option. He can play across the back line, and he's been very good recently playing in that left-back role. Now, controversial. I know Partey is hated by a lot of other people because of things off the pitch that potentially happened, allegedly. But also, I think his time probably is up. I think we haven't seen the best of him this season, for obvious reasons, with injuries and not being able to play too much. But I think since he joined, on average, he hasn't been quite good enough because of the lack of availability, which is mental, considering when he joined, he was one of the least injured players in Europe. It makes no sense. But if Saudi come in, or a Juventus, a Barcelona or whatever, I think we sell him. And we should be able to get close to that 40 million mark that we invested. I like him. I think he's a very good player, and he enabled Rice to blossom in that number 8 role. But I think it's probably going to be the end of Thomas Partey this summer. But what I will say is, towards the end of this season, when he got a run of games, pretty good. He definitely did improve the midfield as a whole. Right, back to green, because, I mean, I might as well just do this now. Ødegaard definitely stays. Rice definitely stays. Saka definitely stays. Havertz definitely stays. And, of course, Martinelli stays as well. Do I need to talk about these guys? They have been fantastic this season. The only player out of those that I'm not so sure about this season was Martinelli. I think he's had a poor season for his standards. Definitely doesn't deserve to be dropped or sold or anything like that. I imagine he'll get a lot of game time next season. No problem. Get your head up, mate. Get your head up. Trossard effectively replaced him. And when I was putting this together, I wanted to put Trossard in, but I think realistically speaking, our best lineup is this one right now. When Martinelli's playing well, he is fantastic. So let's go on to the rest of the squad players. We've already talked about Ramsdale needing to be sold. I'm sad that he's going to go because I really liked him, but for obvious reasons, he's not going to feature. And I think he should go and get first team football. Zinchenko, gone. I'm so sorry, Zinchenko, because when he joined, he was a revelation. Teams have got onto it. They seem to know how to stop that kind of inverted left-back role. And I think Zinchenko, once he can't offer that, doesn't offer enough anywhere else. He's a good, technically gifted player. He's one of the best defending, technically gifted players I've ever seen. So good on the ball, but he's weak. His defense is poor. He doesn't win headers. He's not strong enough. He switches off. He's a liability playing at left back, and there is a reason that Tomiyasu is playing there, and Timber will play there for sure. Kivior is a very easy one. Keep had great appearances as a sub multiple times this season, and also there was a period where he was starting a lot of games at left back, and I thought he did very well. Definitely one to keep. We've already extended Jorginho's contract for another year, so he is definitely staying. We're going to come back to Vieira. I haven't decided myself. Smith Rowe would be a keep for one more season. I'm almost tempted to say loan, but the reason I'm not going to say loan is because of what I'm about to do in a second, because we're about to go red. And Nketiah needs to go. Reiss Nelson needs to go. Both players, academy, Hale End products, and they're good players, but they're not great players. And Nketiah just, has good moments. A hat-trick against Sheffield United, the odd goal. I mean, a huge goal against Man United last season, the season before that was. On his days, he's a pretty good player, but I could see him going to a Crystal Palace or, I don't know, a Brentford and doing very well. But I just don't think for a title charge, a title-winning squad, I don't think so. And it's the same with Reiss Nelson. Just a squad player. And if we can cash in on them, FFP would be great because they're straight profit in FFP because they're academy players. So I would sell them both. I really would. Up next, though, Trossard, keep for sure. Timber, keep for sure. I think we've already announced... Oh, wait, I haven't got El Neni here. El Neni has already gone, by the way. Oh, wait. I have got him. Am I blind? Wait, he's here somewhere. Oh, he's off the screen. Look. El Neni, I'm sorry. There you go. He has already announced that he's leaving, and it's the same with Cedric. Am I missing anyone else then? I don't think so. I think we're good. And I can't believe I'm going to say this as well. Wait, hang on. I've done this on the wrong layer. Let me go back up to here. There we go. So he would be gone. He would be gone. And unfortunately, Jesus, the same. Jesus, the only reason I'm saying sell... I don't think he will go, by the way, but I would sell him because Havertz is our best forward at the moment, and we need a striker. We don't have space for Nketiah, and I don't think Jesus gets in ahead of Havertz or a potential striker. And we'll talk about incomings in the next episode or the next part. But put it this way, I would want us to invest heavily in another forward player, someone that is better than Jesus. Otherwise, you might as well just keep Jesus, and maybe invest in a young striker that kind of replaces Nketiah. But I think we're at a stage now where this team is, it's on the cusp. It's so close to winning major trophies. All it's going to take is one or two proper signings. I think Jesus would need to part ways with the club. We need to raise some money. If we could get 40 million for him, I think that's pretty good. Maybe 50, close to 50. What do we do about Fabio Vieira? We just haven't seen enough of him. I'm tempted to say loan. What I'm going to do, okay, is I'm going to say loan, but I would also listen to offers and I would also keep him. He's a bit of a tricky one, but I can't help but feel that Vieira might do well with a loan. Put it this way, if Vieira left, would we miss him? I don't think so. But that's only because we've had such good availability this season with Ødegaard pretty much fit the entire season, Saka pretty much the entire season. The only place that Vieira slots in is kind of in that Ødegaard or Saka position out on the right side. So I don't really see it. And what I'm going to do as well, because I probably would listen to offers, I'm going to do a loan. I would not sell Smith Rowe this summer. I think we give him another year. I really do. But if we're not going to play him, we should loan him next season. What I'm trying to say is I think Smith Rowe is on the edge of another breakout season. Of course, he had that horrible injury. He was having a breakout season. There's a reason we gave him the number 10 shirt. I think it'd be silly to sell him now, personally. So, guys, what's your thoughts on that? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you jump in the Discord as well. In tomorrow's part, we'll be talking about players that I would like to bring in, and I will list names. I've got a few players in mind that I think will do very well. In terms of the team going into next season, I think what we're looking at is potentially a new midfielder to either come in here or here. It depends. And I think a left back. So it might be that Timber goes in there. I don't know. But with the players we've got, we could go again. I do believe that. I believe we could go again, but we'd just come up short again. Man City are going to strengthen. I think Chelsea are going to be better next season. I'm sure Man United will do some business. Liverpool might struggle with the new manager eventually, but they're going to have a new manager bounce for sure. It's going to be a really interesting summer with the Euros as well. Maybe we're going to see some gems popping up out of nowhere. But I think I'm actually happy with the squad as it is now. For once, I'm going into a summer thinking 1 or 2 players is probably enough, which is rare. For seasons now, it's been we need 5, 6 players. We are so close. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.